Hey there guys! Normally you would see some flashy endgame content here, but today that is not the case. As you can see, I'm leveling a totally new character, and in this video I'm going to help you out level your new character the fastest way on a free-to-play account. As some of you might know, I have been playing Guild Wars 2 since the release of the game. I got mounts, gliding, permanent experience bonuses, etc, etc. And to truly capture the experience of leveling, I had decided to create a character on a new free-to-play Guild Wars 2 account. I had absolutely nothing on this account, and I'm going to share my experience and tips for leveling your characters. If you are a player that has bought an expansion, don't worry, most of the tips in this video are useful for you too, except you don't have the limitations that free-to-play players have. I have divided the levels into different segments, so you have tips for every part of the leveling journey. If you are looking for a specific segment, please refer to the timestamps in the description. The first segments of this video require a bit more explaining, but the segments get shorter towards the end of the video. Before we start, if you want to support me, make sure to watch this video all the way to the end, subscribe to my channel, give it a like and leave a comment. Alrighty, let's go. I had decided to create a Char Necromancer for this guide. Necromancers are an easy profession to start with. If you're in doubt about what profession you should play, check out my profession guide. In that video I will explain every profession in detail. It should be noted that if you're playing with a friend and you have decided to create the same race, make sure to pick the same choices after you've decided on your character's looks. This will make sure that you and your friend have the exact same story options and you can play through the main story together. Let's have a look at the levels 1 to 9. The levels 1 to 9 are by far the fastest and the easiest. However, this segment is going to be a bit longer since I want to cover some important fundamentals of leveling that you will continue doing until level 80. At level 1, you are dropped into a story instance where you get a bit of backstory about your character and the ongoing events of the starter area. After that, you'll get dropped into the world of Guild Wars 2. Since I'm a Char, I got dropped in the Plains of Ashford, a level 1 to 15 area. This is where a lot of newer players get overwhelmed. At this stage, there are 3 things you should focus on. First, keep an eye on the top right of your screen. The game will usually give you a general direction on where to go and what to do next. Usually the game points towards a heart on your minimap. Hearts are basically quests in Guild Wars 2. You automatically accept these quests when you are in the proximity and you can start doing the tasks right away. These hearts will maybe take a minute or 2 to complete and give a lot of experience, some gold and karma. After you have completed a heart, look for the NPC that belongs to the heart. In most cases, he or she is close by. At these NPCs you can purchase new weapons, armor or trinkets for the karma you have just earned by completing hearts. Spending your karma on armor, weapons and trinkets will increase your stats and damage, and therefore it will also speed up the rate you defeat enemies and the amount of experience you will earn. Also, some heart vendors sell food. I advise you to buy some food from these vendors since food gives you a 10% extra experience boost for a period of time. Second, keep an eye out for dynamic events. Dynamic events are open world quests that randomly appear and completing them gives you more experience, gold and karma. Usually, dynamic events will attract other players and they can help you complete them even faster. Dynamic events and hearts are activities that I recommend doing if you want to get to level 80 as fast as possible. Third, you might have noticed these squares on the map. These are called waypoints and allow you to fast travel to that specific location. While not in combat, you can travel there for a small fee from anywhere in the world. The more waypoints you unlock, the faster you can make it through the world of Guild Wars 2. These 3 things, hearts, dynamic events and waypoints, are the things you should focus on during the leveling process. Worth mentioning here is that you should pick up a salvage kit at a merchant. With a salvage kit you can dismantle armor and other items that you don't need and convert them into crafting materials. Save these crafting materials to your bank by clicking on the cog on the top right of your inventory and click Deposit All Materials. We will need these in a later stage of leveling. Next up, level 10 to 25. At level 10 you will receive a new notification that says that you can continue with your personal story. This is a continuation of the story you started at level 1. I would recommend you to do this as soon as possible since this story instance gives you a considerable amount of experience and new armor. After you have completed that, I assume that you are close to level 11 and this is where hero points and utility skills come into play. You might have noticed those locked skills on the right side of your skill bar. These slots are reserved for utility skills and you can unlock them by spending hero points. Hero points can be earned by completing a small challenge and can be found all across the map. Your first utility skill slot unlocks at level 11. For your first utility skill, I would advise you to unlock mobility skills or skills that provide swiftness. At level 20, you unlock the next personal story step, but what should you do between level 11 and level 19? As you open your map by pressing the M key on your keyboard, you can see that there are small objectives all over the map. These include hearts, waypoints and hero points that I have just covered. But it also includes points of interest and vistas. These are landmarks that can be discovered and grant a small amount of experience. Try to discover and complete all the objectives on the map to receive a map completion reward, which can include armor, weapons, materials and experience. In my case, I was level 19 and I had completed the starter map. From here on, open your map and look for a 15 to 25 map and make your move there. Start progressing on this map until you reach level 20 and you can continue your personal story. After completing your next personal story chapter, continue leveling through that new 15 to 25 map. Congratulations, you are now familiar with the fundamentals of leveling. From here on, you can do two things. You can either complete the new map like we've done with the starter zone, or you can only complete the hearts, do the dynamic events and the hero points. If you are a completionist, complete the map. But if you want to level fast, I would just do the hearts, dynamic events and hero points. The last thing I want to cover in this segment are specializations. At level 21, your character will unlock Specializations. This is the talent tree of Guild Wars 2. You can spend hero points to unlock passive bonuses and this will make your character stronger. You can change this anytime. For leveling, pick the specialization that you like. It doesn't matter much what you pick here. When you reach level 80, you have most specializations unlocked anyway. So if you're ever in doubt about this, don't worry. Just continue leveling and gathering hero points. You will eventually unlock everything. Alright, level 25 to 35. Here is where a minor free-to-play limitation kicks in. I had completed 2 maps and was between level 25 and 27 at this point. That all sounds great, but I could not directly progress to a level 25 to 35 map. I thought that I would make my move to Lion's Arch, the capital of Guild Wars 2, and continue my journey from there. However, you will encounter this message. At this point, you can do two things. You can either travel to a starter zone from another race, for me, a Char, that was a Norn starter area, or you could move to a higher level zone. This is what I did, but I would not recommend it since the enemies hit considerably harder than the last zone I had played in. In terms of experience gained, it doesn't matter too much due to the leveling scaling in Guild Wars 2. Whilst you're progressing through the new map, make sure to do your hearts and make your way to level 30 to unlock a new chapter of your personal story. It is important to note that the personal story chapters are not around the corner anymore. You might have to travel to start them. As you hit level 30, you will also receive a mail about dungeons and the Escalon catacombs. You are now eligible to play through the story mode of this dungeon. However, I would stay away from this for now. It is best to do this when you have a group of people together from your guild, friends list, or through the looking for group panel. Dungeons aren't that supported these days and forming a group could take a while. Therefore, I would do dungeons at a later stage. Also, keep collecting hero points and make sure to save 9 of these hero points. At level 31, you will unlock your first elite skill, and this costs 9 hero points. As the name suggests, this is a powerful ultimate ability. Level 35 to 55. At level 35, you are finally able to enter Lion's Arch. This is also a great moment to talk about crafting. Crafting gives a lot of experience and it also gives achievements and the ability to craft new armor and food. I've stated in my level 1 to 9 segment of this video to make sure to deposit all crafting materials. We are going to need them now. Decide which crafting discipline you want to level. I am a Necromancer, so I use light armor and therefore I chose the tailoring crafting discipline. This way I can craft my own armor and level my character simultaneously. It is also possible to take another crafting discipline like cooking, so you can cook your own food, or artificer, so you can make your own staves and wands. The main discipline you want to focus on is cooking. Cooking is very cheap, easy, and gets you the experience you need. Most of the materials you need can be found at the cooking vendor or at the trading post. I used the cooking guide that showed me the items that you should craft to get the most experience. You can find this in the description. However, there is a downside for free-to-play players here. You cannot sell the food you have crafted on the trading post. You could see this as a return of investment. This is a major limitation since you have to spend gold at the trading post to level up cooking, and I saw myself running short on gold. Therefore, it could be hard to maximize the cooking discipline right away. It is best to spread this process out over multiple stages. Craft until you almost run out of gold and return every few levels with more gold and materials. As you reach level 40, you want to do your personal story once again. This personal story gives you an experience booster that provides a 50% boost in all game modes. The booster also provides you with a kill streak bonus. The more enemies you kill in a limited time frame, the more experience you get for defeating enemies. Make sure to complete your personal story first and pop the booster after. Also make sure that you are in an area with a lot of enemies, hearts and dynamic events when you are about to use your booster. This will maximize the experience you receive. At level 45 you unlock your second specialization line. This allows for more build diversity and more opportunities to deal damage, which in turn speeds up the leveling process. At this stage I would try and see if you can find synergies in this new specialization that fit your playstyle. You could also look up a build on MetaBattle or a similar website. Once again, at level 50 you can enter another chapter of your personal story, but before you start that, make sure that your experience booster has expired. This is mainly because most of the experience you receive from the personal story comes from the end reward, not from defeating enemies and events in between. We don't want that free experience go to waste, do we? Make your way up to level 55 by traveling to an area called Sparkfly Fen, which is located on the south of the world map. Level 55 to 68. Between level 55 and 68 you mainly want to level in two areas. Sparkfly Fen, a 55 to 65 zone, and Mount Maelstrom, a 60 to 70 zone. These areas have tons of dynamic events you can participate in, which can drastically speed up your leveling progress. However, I did find the enemies a bit tougher than the previous areas I was leveling in. If you find yourself in trouble while playing in these areas, return to a 45 to 55 zone and return at level 58. As usual, do your personal story chapter at level 60 and visit the crafting table in Lion's Arch to get some extra experience in. Try to complete as much as possible in Sparkfly Fen and Mount Maelstrom until level 68 before we move on to the Straits of Devastation. Level 68 to 80. You're almost there. The reason why I advise level 68 to move on to the Straits of Devastation is because you want to complete this map. This means get 100% completion on the map, which includes every point of interest, every vista and every hero challenge. The reason for this is that the Straits of Devastation have no hard objectives and have good map completion rewards. You will make up for those lost levels by exploring and participating in dynamic events, since that gives you a considerable amount of experience. At level 71 you unlock your last specialization line. You can finally finish the build you were working on. Once again, it is important to unlock this and select the specialization options. These specializations give your character passive bonuses and upgraded skills that make your character considerably stronger. After you have finished the Straits of Devastation, make your way to Malkor's Leap and complete the map for the same reasons I have stated before. For your last few levels, you should head to the last zone, Cursed Shore. In that zone you should be able to hit level 80 by exploring and participating in dynamic events. And that's about it. When you reach level 80, I would also complete the Cursed Shore map before moving on to your next activity to get that sweet map completion reward. If you were wondering what to do next, don't worry, I got a video for that too. You can check it out in the description or in the info charts. But before we wrap this video up, let's have a look at some stats I had recorded. It took me about 28 hours to reach level 80 on a fresh account with nothing on it. That is about 1680 minutes. If we divide that by 80, then this would mean that on average I would gain a level every 21 minutes. Some levels go faster than others. For example, I felt myself leveling considerably faster in the last 3 zones. Also, crafting can give you a level per minute if you craft a lot at the same time. To conclude, if you want to see a leveling guide from another perspective, check out Commentate's video about leveling. He made an excellent video about this topic. And if you have a question, please leave it in the comments. Also make sure to like, subscribe and share my videos. It helps me out a lot. And as usual, thank you guys so much for watching and I hope to see you all in the next video. Peace!